نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإني جاعلك للناس إماما صدق الله العظيم. Honorable brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we are right now in the holy month of Ziqad, which is one of the most blessed months in the sight of Allah Almighty and are regarded the most respectful months, which means that we are going through from the most blessed times of our life. And as we are getting closer and closer to the next month, which is the month of Dhul Hajj, which is known for a beautiful worship, and that is Hajj. So Muslims from all across the globe will perform Hajj, and moreover they would celebrate Eid, which is known as the Eid al-Adha, the Eid of the sacrifice. And this is yet another event that Muslims always find themselves to be blessed with this kind of the worships. So today I shall speak on the topic Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam as the person, as the prophet, worth looking back or worth looking at in order to resolve or in order to think about resolving our issues of the modern world. And why is it important? It is important that every then and now we think that how to overcome a world which is full of racism, which is full of conflicts and violence, a world which systematically creates discriminations against the others, as well as which is not ruled by the principles and values of ethics. And the second thing, that is the most important thing, that we do understand that we live in the world of racism, we live in the world of violence, sometimes psychological, sometimes physical, sometimes it takes many other forms. And knowingly, we cannot do anything against it. We cannot do anything to stop it at some point. And we find ourselves to be somehow participating in this world. Though we do not want to participate in this world, we do not appreciate this world, but on many occasions we find ourselves to be at a place where we can't do anything. We can't do anything. So, what is the way out? How should we think about this world? Should we continue to support this world in the sense that the next future generation should also suffer from the same troubles and issues as we are suffering? Or do we really want to change this world? And if we really want to change this world, and everybody thinks about change, universities have departments that they want that the future world should be very full of peace. It should be a world where the coexistence becomes not a dream, but a reality. But how to meet up that challenge? How to overcome on that? So since it is the desire of everybody, whoever somebody is, for example, if he belongs to the religion of Islam, sometimes people belong to different religions, sometimes people might not believe in religion, but we share the future world in the same way, that we want a world full of peace. We want a world where human beings love each other, they respect each other. Now, if we have the same destination, if we have the same desire that we want this kind of the world for our future posterity, for our future generation, what is the way out? So one of the way out is, I think, is to reflect and to live through the life of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam as much as possible. Now the question arises, why do Ibrahim alayhi salam? And isn't that just an Islamic solution to the entire world? Yes, from one perspective it may be that Ibrahim alayhi salam represents the world of Islam. But having said that, it is equally important that he also is the prophet of Christianity. He is the prophet of Judaism. He is recognized as the most respectful figure, not only in Christianity, not only in Judaism, but also in Islam. But does that make Ibrahim specific prophet for these revealed religion? No. He can be represented as someone who believes in reason, who believes in cherishable ethical values, which should be celebrated and should be respected. And for this reason, Ibrahim alayhi salam turns out to be a figure which must be reflected and which must be taught in the positive way by every single member of this world community. Now here is my case. My case starts that, look, what makes Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam the most relevant person? For us, he is a prophet. But for example, if we say that we do not take him as a prophet, if we take him as an example of the leader who could help us to overcome this world, which is a world of racism, which is a world of division, which is a world of sectarianism, which is a world of, let's say, quarrels, which is a world of violence. So can anybody help us? So I say, Ibrahim alayhi salam's life can help us think through. So now let us examine that. What is the overall message that we get out of the life of the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam? We all agree. We would all agree on the fact that Ibrahim alayhi salam was not a prophet who simply came and said that, look, I believe this, and you should accept it. No. He presented that message because he was fully convinced that his message, the unity of Allah Almighty, is the message which is rational, which is ethical, which would actually help us to live in this world perfectly, which could bring peace, respect, and sacrifice for everybody. And it is a world which would accommodate everybody, right? So how does he do it? Now, he raises the questions to the community and asks the community in which he was living, and from that, he communicates this message to the entire world. Can you think about your own beliefs, rituals, practices in a critical manner? Can you just think about your beliefs, practices, and rituals, that are they really rational? Are they really ethical? Are they really worthwhile following? This was the question that was raised by Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now this question can be raised by anybody, because he wanted that whatever we believe, whatever we practice, it should be free from the biases. Now, if anything has to be free from the biases, it has to be filtered from the filters of reason, from the filters of universal ethical moral values. And this is what he did. And when he raised these questions, he said that now let us examine one by one. Then he gives the example, for example, that you, the community members, believe that the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, they shape our life. Do you think and do you believe that? Do you believe that these idols, small or big, whoever they are, do they run the affairs of our life? Do you think that? So the community members' answer was that yes, Since we inherited these beliefs from our forefathers cannot be wrong. Now, this is dogmatism. This is sheer blind following. And this is what Ibrahim said, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, that you should question. This is not rational. This is not ethical. It would make the world full of divisions, full of conflicts, full of violence. And you are supposed to be overcoming on that. How could you do that? He said that, look, I can demonstrate to you that these planets, they are moving and they have nothing to do with our life. They do not interfere directly in our life affairs. Similarly, these false idols, they have nothing to do with us. They cannot have any control on themselves. These planets change every moment. And the things which change every moment, which do not have control over themselves, the idols whom these community members are worshipping, they do not have any control over themselves. So things which do not have any control on themselves can never be the good and the true gods. Upon reflection, his answers were really good. They were really good. And they were telling the community members that if you want a good life, a life worth living, is a life where you can question where you can question your given beliefs and your practices. And this is the model that we are supposed to be applying in contemporary world. My dear brothers, we all know that we are living in a world where double standards are the law of the day, is the order of the day, where we are ready to accept the might is right. So, my dear brothers, if we continue to live by and to support the double standards of us, it would not lead us to the world that we dream of, to the world where people could live together happily and peacefully. We have to develop a world. We have to make our world such that where peace comes back, where respect comes back, where violence is simply thrown away from this world. And how is it possible? The method that is proposed by, that is practiced by, that is lived by the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. The second thing that is very, very important, that he was not a man of lip services. He did not simply say that you are supposed to be doing that and you are not supposed to be doing that. What he believed, what he was convinced with, he firmly believed in that and he firmly practiced that. And look at, when he was asked the questions about his Lord, when he was asked the questions and his own position, that what does he believe about, he firmly believed in that. He showed his unwavering commitment to the unity of Allah Almighty, because this is what he believed. And secondly, he thought that this is, if you measure it by the yardstick of reason, if you measure it by the yardstick of ethics, universal ethics and morality, it would actually come according to these standards. So whatever he believed, then he showed 100% commitment through his life. Now, he was actually thrown as a test by Allah Almighty into the fire, and he did not back off from his beliefs. When he was asked to sacrifice his son, he did not back off from his beliefs. And this is what I'm talking about, the double standards. On the one hand, we, as the member of this world community, okay, whatever my background is, whatever your background is, but what we share, the common mistake, that we dream that we want this kind of the world which is full of respect, which is peaceful, which believes in the peaceful coexistence. But as when it comes to the practice, what happens? That I am taken by the biases of my own community, by the race that I am born to, by the religion that I have been, brought up and raised up. So all of these biases continue to blackmail me. But the question is, my dear friends, if we really want a world worth living, we have to practically come out of these double standards, check our beliefs and practices through the lens of reason and universal morality, and then firmly believe in that, this would help us to overcome all the atrocities, shortcomings of the present world. Otherwise, we can't do that. And for this reason, I say that if we think about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, take him as the real leader, then we can take lessons from his life. And this is what was the message of today's discussion over here. I end on this note, and let's have the sunnah of the Jummah, and then we will say our congregation together. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.